Southeast Asia in the 18th century was a vibrant tapestry of kingdoms and cultures. The region pulsed with life, its fertile lands supporting bustling communities. Yet amidst this dynamism, two kingdoms stood apart, Cambodia and Laos. These lands, now known for their rich history and cultural heritage, were sparsely populated compared to their neighbours. This essay delves into the factors behind this demographic puzzle, exploring how geography, history and social structures intertwined to shape the destinies of Cambodia and Laos. Cambodia's heartland is dominated by the Mekong River, a lifeline that has shaped the nation's history, culture and economy for centuries. This mighty river, stretching over 4,350 kilometers, flows through 6 countries before reaching Cambodia, where it becomes an integral part of daily life. And the Tonle Sap Lake, the largest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. This unique body of water expands and contracts dramatically with the seasons, creating a rich and diverse ecosystem that supports millions of people. This dynamic duo, while a source of life, also brought challenges. The Mekong and Tonle Sap are not just rivers and lakes, they are the arteries of Cambodia, pulsing with the rhythm of the seasons. The annual monsoon season transformed the landscape, with the Mekong swelling to engulf vast swathes of land. The floodwaters would rise, turning fields into temporary lakes and villages into islands. These floods, though essential for agriculture, also brought disruption. Farmers relied on the nutrient-rich silt deposited by the floods to fertilize their fields, but the unpredictability of the water levels could also destroy crops and homes. Villagers had to adapt to the rhythm of the water, their lives shaped by the ebb and flow of the floodplains. Traditional stilt houses were built to withstand the rising waters, and boats became a primary mode of transportation during the wet season. Beyond the fertile floodplains lay Cambodia's coastal regions, where the land meets the sea in a blend of mangroves, beaches and estuaries. These areas are rich in biodiversity and natural resources. Here, communities were often isolated, separated by dense forests and limited infrastructure. The thick jungles and rugged terrain made travel and communication difficult, fostering a sense of remoteness. The challenges of communication and transportation hindered interaction and integration with the rest of the country. Roads were few and far between, and many relied on boats to navigate the waterways that crisscrossed the landscape. The coastal areas, though rich in resources, remained sparsely populated due to these geographical constraints. Despite the abundance of fish, timber and other natural resources, the difficulty in accessing these regions limited their development. Laos, in contrast to Cambodia's watery expanses, faced the challenges of a mountainous terrain. The country's landscape is dominated by towering peaks and rugged hills which define much of its geography. These natural barriers have historically limited the availability of arable land, making large-scale agriculture a difficult endeavor. Towering peaks and rugged hills defined much of the landscape, limiting the availability of arable land. The steep slopes and rocky soil were not conducive to traditional farming methods, forcing the inhabitants to adapt in unique ways. This geographic reality constrained agricultural productivity, making it difficult to support large populations. Farmers had to resort to terraced farming, carving steps into the hillsides to create small plots of arable land. Despite these efforts, the yield was often insufficient to sustain large communities. Villages were often nestled in valleys, pockets of life amidst the imposing mountains. These valleys provided some respite from the harsh terrain, offering relatively flat land for building homes and cultivating crops. However, the isolation of these villages made it difficult for communities to connect and trade with one another. The rivers of Laos, while essential for transportation, were often treacherous. These waterways, with their swift currents and dangerous rapids, posed significant challenges for those attempting to navigate them. The rivers were both a lifeline and a barrier, crucial for trade yet perilous to traverse. Navigating these waterways was a challenge, with rapids and narrow passages hindering trade and communication. Boats had to be expertly maneuvered to avoid the many hazards, and even then, accidents were common. This made the movement of goods and people slow and dangerous. The mountainous terrain and the challenges of river travel contributed to the isolation of communities, further limiting population growth. The remoteness of these villages meant that they were often self-sufficient, relying on their own resources to survive. This isolation fostered a strong sense of community, but also made it difficult for the kingdom to unify and develop a cohesive national identity. Section 4. Shadows of Empires Past. The 18th century was a time of political fragmentation for both Cambodia and Laos. The once mighty Khmer Empire centered in Angkor had long since faded. Its decline left a power vacuum, leading to internal conflicts and shifting alliances. This instability made it difficult to establish the conditions necessary for sustained population growth. Similarly, Laos, once unified under the Lan Xang kingdom, had fragmented into competing principalities. These rivalries led to frequent conflicts, further disrupting the social and economic fabric of the land. The instability discouraged large-scale settlements and made life precarious for many. Section 5. The Rhythms of Rural Life. Both Cambodia and Laos in the 18th century were predominantly agrarian societies. The majority of the population engaged in subsistence agriculture, growing rice and other crops to sustain themselves. This reliance on agriculture, while essential for survival, limited economic development and opportunities for trade. The social organization of ethnic groups also played a role in shaping population patterns. Many communities lived in scattered villages, often separated by language, cultural practices, and ancestral lands. This social structure, while preserving unique traditions, also limited interaction and integration on a larger scale. Section 6. Beyond the Horizon, a glimpse at Neighbours. The demographic realities of Cambodia and Laos were even more striking when compared to their neighbours. Vietnam, with its fertile Red River Delta and centralised government, experienced significant population growth during this period. Thailand, under the newly established Chakri dynasty, also saw a surge in its population. These neighbouring kingdoms benefited from factors that were absent in Cambodia and Laos. Political stability, robust trade networks, and favourable geographic conditions allowed them to support larger populations. Their experiences provide a stark contrast to the challenges faced by their less densely populated neighbours. Section 7. The weight of history, the power of place. The sparse populations of Cambodia and Laos in the 18th century were a result of a complex interplay of factors. These factors were not just limited to the immediate socio-political environment, but were deeply rooted in the geography and historical events that shaped the region over centuries. Geographic constraints, including Cambodia's floodplains, played a significant role. The floodplains, while fertile, were prone to seasonal flooding, which made large-scale agriculture challenging. This natural barrier limited the ability of communities to expand and thrive. Similarly, Laos's mountainous terrain presented its own set of challenges. The rugged landscape made it difficult to cultivate crops on a large scale and hindered communication between different regions. This isolation contributed to the slow development of infrastructure and trade networks. The legacies of political fragmentation with the decline of the Khmer Empire further compounded these issues. The once mighty empire, known for its architectural marvels like Angkor Wat, saw its influence wane, leading to a period of instability and division. In Laos, the fragmentation of Lan Xang, a powerful kingdom that once unified the region, created similar instability. The division of Lan Xang into smaller, often competing states weakened the region's ability to resist external pressures and foster internal growth. These historical and geographic factors, combined with the economic realities of subsistence agriculture, meant that most of the population was engaged in small-scale farming. This type of agriculture, while sustainable, did not support large population growth or urbanization. The social organization of ethnic groups also played a crucial role. Traditional village life, with its emphasis on community and self-sufficiency, shaped the demographic landscape of the two kingdoms. These communities were often insular, with strong ties to their land and traditions. While their neighbours flourished, Cambodia and Laos remained sparsely populated. The bustling markets and flourishing cities of Vietnam and Thailand stood in stark contrast to the quieter, more rural landscapes of Cambodia and Laos. Their stories are a testament to the enduring influence of geography, history, and human adaptation in the face of challenges. The weight of history and the power of place continue to shape the destinies of these nations, reminding us of the intricate tapestry of factors that influence human societies.